think should have been done when you were standing in front of the judge at the age of 13 instead of what happened?
Had I never been transferred into the adult system, I would have been afforded much more opportunities much earlier in my life to have a positive socialization. It was not too late. Not only do we know that children's brains are informed, but that there is a plasticity that is there, that children are very much susceptible to change, that if given a proper support and positive environments, that they can change. And it doesn't have to be later on in life. It doesn't have to be when you're an adult. I think the moment that a child is met with a positive reinforcement system, the moment that he is embraced with love and compassion, the moment he is accepted, respected unconditionally, and really just regarded, I think that there's ample opportunities there for that child to just change his life. But it wasn't until many years later for me that I met a public defender that was compassionate, that did see me for who I was, that looked past my offenses and recognized that I was just a child, that I did have potential for change. And I would say very generally that if a court looks at a child and recognizes that simply is a child, and think about how you would want your child to be treated, that would provide proper guidance on how to go about addressing and holding this child accountable. And most importantly, helping to create a very positive and nurturing environment that will enable him to have a positive outcome rather than reinforcing the negativity, rather than re-traumatizing and re-abusing and reinforcing a lot of the negativity that was there prior to that offense. Instead, I think we should be, the first line of defense. We should be the ones to say, okay, you know what, this is a horrible thing you've done, Xavier. But we also want to give you a chance to make amends, to give you a chance to prove that you're better. We're not going to throw you away forever. We're going to give you a sentence that is not going to feel good. But at the same time, it'll be an opportunity for you to demonstrate your better self. And it may not come right away when we recognize that, but we're going to give you ample opportunities to change and become a better person. We're not going to ignore what we know in terms of adolescent development. We're not going to ignore what we know in terms of even international conventions that have said very clearly that you are different. It's sad because we are the only country in the world that does this. You look at the Convention on the Rights of the Child and other conventions, international conventions that really try to protect children. We know that some things are very common. Certain rights are very important. We know that every child should have clean water, food, should have, housing, a quality education, should not be exposed to hazardous working conditions. We know that children should be afforded, every human being should be afforded certain rights to protect the integrity and dignity of their existence as human beings, and in particular with special recognition to their childhood. We should not treat children in an inhumane way. And so if you look at the Convention on the Rights of the Child in Article 37, it says, no child should be subjected to torture or other cruel, inhuman, degrading treatment or punishment, either capital punishment or life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, without the possibility of release, shall be imposed for offenses committed by persons below 18 years of age. We know in so many ways that children are different. We recognize this, through other things, and that we forbid them from doing. We don't allow them to get married until a certain age. We don't allow them to drive. We don't allow them to get into certain contracts or to smoke cigarettes or buy alcohol. We recognize that children are naturally impulsive, risk-taking, and very impetuous at times in life, and particularly in adolescence. But the moment that they commit that horrible mistake, sadly in our society, is the moment that we throw all that out of the window. It's the moment that we relieve ourselves of our responsibility as adults to ensure that they can have a positive upbringing, to ensure that they are regarded as children and not to be treated as the worst of the worst adult offenders, but that in fact to be allowed to have restorative opportunities, to be able to take advantage of programming, to take advantage of therapy, to take advantage of things that can help guide them in a positive trajectory, so that they, much like us, much like the many ICAN members across the country, have demonstrated that we are better than our worst act. And I think that's what I think the courts, not just for myself, but for others who have made horrible mistakes as children, they should be given the same opportunities. And with that opportunity, I am very confident that many, if not all, and I cannot account for everyone's actions, but I would say the majority of people that I know, that I grew up with, and who I'm now connecting with through this national network, I know, have really gone above and beyond to prove, not just to me, but to society, their loved ones, their community as a whole, they are not horrible monsters. They're just simply individuals who made mistakes when they were children.